I am Nigerian by birth. I like to say I was born, bred, buttered, and slightly burned in Nigeria. Probably my aunt at the age of 11. I told her that I liked girls and I liked boys, and she said, "You're going to go to hell," because I was raised Catholic. When I was young, my grandmother only called me Udaku. So Udaku means balm of wealth. But growing up as the first daughter, I wanted my grandmother to call me Adaku, which is the first daughters, exclusively for first daughters, meaning the daughter of wealth. But I didn't know that Udaku is also exclusively for first daughters. I didn't know that. I just didn't like the sound of it. I just didn't like it. And so now as a life coach, helping people make money, helping people become who they really were meant to be, helping them believe in like the impossible, being an example of what's possible. I realized that most people come to me because I make it look easy, and a balm tends to make it soothing, easier. So I'm like, oh, there's this name that I should lean into this name. I went to medical school in the British system, and it takes about 8 to 10 years to become an attending, which is a pediatrician. But the Americans have 3 years of residency. So of course I want to come to America so I can do 3 years of residency. And that's exactly what happened. So most of my classmates, 5 years after I'd finished my residency and became a pediatrician, which is an attending, meaning that I'm no longer a resident, I'm no longer a student, I'm not learning anymore. They were still in school because they went to the UK. So one of the big attractions for the US, besides the financial, in a sense, is also it's a short 3 years of residency. It's easy, straight to go, and I wanted to go to Howard University Hospital because 2 of my attendings when I was in medical school and residency went to Howard. Medical school is different in Africa, in Nigeria, where I trained. We have a little bit stricter guidelines, a little bit more, less emphasis on lab tests, more emphasis on the person in front of you. Ironically, Nigeria being such a homophobic country, when he's a queer patient, then they just forget that this is the person that you're supposed to be like taking care of, the person in front of you. You took an oath to first do no harm, or like I like to say, first do no further harm, because most people are coming in with some kind of trauma. So being able to marry those 2 people, the homophobic Nigerian side and then the LGBT plus advocate side, has been like, okay, the unraveling of me, but it's working. This week I'm actually hosting my first ever event for physicians and the healthcare community. We're having a space where people are going to come on one side and the doctors on one side. I'm going to have a conversation because it needs to be done. So if anything at all, my intersectional identities have helped me identify more with my people, which is the queer people, as well as Black doctors and immigrant doctors. So I like to say I'm a Black queer immigrant physician, mom of a trans kid. So having a firstborn male in Nigeria is a big deal. You're like the shiznit. Oh my God, you've got a male child. And so when I told my mother, I said, I think the kid is gay. She said, bring the holy water. Bring the holy water. Don't say my grandson, my first grandson. No. So it was a very difficult journey for me, just watching the child having like feminine tendencies, and I was like, please, whatever you do, just stop acting like a girl. I knew people were going to think I somehow encouraged it, I somehow did it, and my ex-husband indeed blamed me. That I think he said I made the child gay through my breast milk, and I was like, what about the other 2? So it was a very difficult journey. However, my kid was raised here, and I raised the child to also not give a fuck. We say we don't want our kids to go through that, and then unfortunately we are our kids' first bullies because we're trying to make them be someone who they're not. But I tell the parents, if you love your child, it should not be conditional. I can't just love you only while you're straight or love you only when you're not. Once I figured that out, it became easier to help the parents and now help physicians, because parents tell me, I don't know what to say, I don't know what to do. And the physicians say, well, I don't want to say the wrong thing. Nobody wants to say anything, but in the silence is where the harm exists. So I think my journey has actually been easier than most people think. A lot of people feel sorry for me. They feel empathy towards me. I'm like, my kid just happens to be trans. That's 1% of the child's identity. Actually, the young adult's identity, because the kid is 28, right? So it's just 1%. I mean, I don't brush my teeth my teeth thinking I'm a mother of a trans kid. I don't go to the store thinking, oh my God, I'm a mother. No. If I want to, I can, but I generally don't. I'm just a mom. And my kid, I have 3 kids. I don't have one child. Each child needs my love, and I meet each child where they want us to, where they want me to meet them, or I meet the child where the child wants me to meet them. So I'm not like over stressed about the one child over the others. The kid is 28 years old, fiercely independent, doing very well. My job as a mother is to just, send love from time to time and just exist as an empty nester. So it's not really like, it doesn't define my life. It defines my work, but not my life. So they're 2 different things.